Greetings and welcome to my new calculus channel. My name is John Gabriel, and today I'm going to share with you another pithy video. So let's begin. Now, a lot of you will have come across, those of you who are mathematics students will have come across the concept of limits and how mainstream academics love to claim certain properties and make certain statements which are in total contradiction to each other. So before I start, let's actually look at some of those weird monkey business claims that they make. So the first one is that if you have a function f of x or any number or expression and you multiply it by 1, because x over x can't be interpreted as anything else but 1, so you cannot substitute values in x here which will make it anything but 1. So yes, you can put 2 over 2, 3 over 3, 4 over 4, etc. But you cannot put 0 over 0, so that's just not allowed, So you cannot substitute non-numbers such as 0. You cannot put 0 in here, in this expression here. You just cannot, not in the top and not in the bottom, because 0 is not a number. If we multiply by x over x, surely we can divide by x over x? I mean, it's so stupid when they write expressions such as x minus 3 and then they say x cannot equal to 3. Obviously not, because this expression here must be a number, right? But at the same time, we must remember that if we multiply by an expression like this, which has the same value on the top and the bottom, it can only be interpreted as 1. So, and finally, if we multiply any number or expression by 1, it cannot and it should not change its property or value. So if we had to multiply 3/4 by, let's say, by x minus 3 over x minus 3, this multiplication here cannot change the value of this fraction. In other words, you can't suddenly say that this expression here is no longer defined when x is equal to 3. It is defined, but what you have to do is you have to find the irreducible form of this expression, which is called factorizing it and cancelling out these factors. And yes, you can do it, because if these factors are in there, it means they must have been numbers. They couldn't have been 0 over 0, you morons. Do you understand that? Okay, so let's look at another example here. So over here, we have this typical kind of scenario you find in limit theory, where you say a function is equal to this, and it in this particular instance, it can be minus 1, because minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. So x equals to minus 1 in this expression is fine. But then if you multiply it by 1, because this here is equal to 1, it cannot be anything. It cannot be interpreted as anything else. If you multiply it by 1, you get this expression, right? Okay, now suddenly in this expression, x is not equal to 1. So what you have now is, in their beautiful logic, is that x equals to minus 1 and x is not equal to minus 1. Isn't that incredible? But you see, the scheming fools and rascals need this feature in their bogus formulation of calculus, you see, because, for example, if you take this common definition of limit, this common definition of limit, which says that the distance between f and L is less than some epsilon if there is a delta such that delta is greater than the distance between x and c. So The problem why they need this holy feature is because of this part of the inequality. See, this part of the inequality says delta and epsilon must be greater than 0. Okay, so they need this because their bullshit calculus would fall apart without it. So, and of course we know that calculus does not require limits in any form, shape, or in any other way you can think of them. Limits are not part of calculus, and calculus does not work because of limits. Okay? And my new calculus and my historic geometric theorem, which leads to a second formulation, proves this. And I'll put links in the detail section for you to study. So that's pretty much for this pity video. If you're not already a subscriber, become one, tell your friends about it, and also contribute to me at my GoFundMe page. I have been left in a very terrible situation by my enemies in the mainstream. This is not a conspiracy theory. Just Google my name and see how much bullshit comes up about me, all libel and lies. And of course, if you believe in those libel and lies, you'll think that I'm a nutcase, a narcissist, a psychopath, and I am none of those things. I have never been diagnosed by any of those with any of those particular diseases. So contribute to my GoFundMe page. I could certainly use the money. I'm still swimming amongst the turbulent waves of the ocean without a resting place, without a place which I can call my home. I've been persecuted, which I think is absolutely criminal, and I've been labeled all sorts of vile things by mainstream academics who hate me and are jealous of me because I've exposed their ignorance. Don't believe what I tell you. Study my work and you'll see that I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying to you. Why should I lie? What do I have to gain by lying? And so far, I've gained absolutely nothing by revealing this knowledge to the world. Nothing. Well, maybe a couple of $100. If you look at my GoFundMe page, that's all that's being contributed to me. So help me out. Help me fight these evil priests of the Church of Academia, because that's what they really are. Imagine that your children have to go to university and learn all this crap because limit theory does not belong in calculus. Yes, it's interesting, but it has very few uses outside of calculus. Well, I can think of actuarial science, where, for example, if you're calculating life contingencies, annuities certain, and so on, in such circumstances, those limit theory comes in handy, but it's not required in calculus. It never was a part of calculus, but somehow it's crept in. And before I continue to rant, this is supposed to be a short, pretty video. So my name is John Gabriel. This is a new calculus channel. Till next time, folks. Goodbye.